real quick and talk about managing specifically emotional states in groups and just how easy that is to do when you get the fundamentals of it right. And I'm called upon a lot for this, at least probably once a month for 16 hours a day for 4 or 5 days straight. And my whole function in those groups is to manage the state and make sure that everyone is clear and engaged and ready to rock and learn and grow in those moments, especially the ones that are difficult for them. And so there's a couple things that I see that works, and you can take them or leave them. I got to tell you, I've got several thousand hours of training on this from one of the best organizations on earth at this. Number one is obviously my state has to be in a place that's engaged and centered and strong and caring for whatever individual or whatever situation comes up. So that's the first thing. And then there's this other part that's present in the moment no matter what comes up. And that presence includes not getting into my own head about problems that come up. So if you're a manager and you've got 48 things going on and you're stressed out and you see somebody doing something that they shouldn't be doing, then your role is to wait and get yourself centered and checked out before you get into a conversation with that person you see. Otherwise, your state of kind of stressed and impatience that you feel is not going to serve that other person that you're dealing with. So that would be the first two, right? Is managing our own state, especially when it comes to giving feedback to someone else or helping somebody else. And that centered, like I would say, centered, well, happy. One thing you should be happy with yourself and what's going on and finding the good in the moment. And then there's this centered piece, and then there's this calm piece that even if it feels like the sky is falling, if you let that out to anybody else in a group, or if you let the group start to feel that, then the sky does fall because the group in general starts to fall apart and there's no cohesion. And so making it fun no matter what is has always been my kind of go-to for that. And so I foster that in groups from the very get-go. And I use my own humor and my own I make sure that I'm having fun from a heart-centered place. And as a manager, if you're managing people or groups, or you have to see yourself kind of as almost I would say, almost the guy who throw in the party, in a sense. You're throwing a party, even in a work scenario, in a sense, you're throwing a party, but you're throwing a directed party where everybody's doing the things that they need to do in that moment in order to move the ball forward. Because if it's just about work and tasks, and if everybody feels like that you're only looking at them to as a completer of a task, it gets really transactional, and that's where you'll have trouble keeping employees engaged, or even if they're not employees, if they're volunteers, keeping volunteers engaged. If it's your family, keeping your family wanting to kind of stay on the same track with you. And so letting go of the transactional piece of it and seeing everybody as human beings is another chunk of that. And your energy is always going to lead everyone else's, and that's what I usually push out there into groups, whether it's a small group of 10, 15 people, or sometimes I'm leading a group of hundreds of people. And it's the same process though. And each person that you talk to, especially if other people are watching, if you're in a group of 100 people and you come out and they see you attack one member of the group, everybody is going to be scared to tell you the bad news, and that's the recipe for failure in business. But if somebody gives you bad news and you go, thank you, thank you, thank you, and you work out a solution for them and you reward them for it, now you have an environment that's going to foster change and foster growth. And if somebody comes to you with good news same thing. And good ideas, the same thing. It's the process of feeling like you can get to solution and resolution without, too much pain. And so that would be my take for today on energy in groups. And your energy will always lead it. So jumping around and having some fun, and just put a smile on your own face before you greet your team, because they look at it like, uh-oh, boss is coming, or oh my gosh, boss is coming. That's cool. Something good's going to come out of this, or something bad's going to come out of it. We want to be the leads that when somebody sees us, they immediately get a feeling that they welcome our presence, because by welcoming our presence, they were less defensive and more likely to grow and thrive in our presence. So that's it for today. That's my short little live today on leading energy in groups. And you can do that. It's practiced. So even if you're not, if you didn't start out that way as a manager or leader, you can move toward it every single day. And people won't trust it at first, and you won't trust it at first because won't feel natural all the time. But if you just nurture it a little more and more every day, both your team, your family, or anybody else that you're working or playing with will start to feel it as you start to feel it, and it grows on you, and you get better and better at it. So that's it for my live today. Until tomorrow, enjoy your day and make it a freaking awesome day. Until tomorrow, bye-bye.